I'm here in Medjugorje and I'm with, what's your name?
My name is Emma.
Where are you from?
I'm Kerry in the southwest of Ireland.
Wow, you said second time here?
It is my second time here, but I'm living quite close to here. I'm living in Dubrovnik at the moment.
Oh, why do you live in Dubrovnik?
I'm working there, so I'm working on a small island off the coast of Dubrovnik.
Yeah.
It's my third season working on the island, so I'm living my Mamma Mia dream, I like to say. So it's very beautiful.
Because it's sunny, nice weather, no?
It is.
No rain.
No rain most of the time, but it's quite hot at the moment, so
Yeah.
it's slowly adapting to the heat.
Yeah.
But I'm grateful not to be in Irish weather, so it's a nice change.
But it's hot, no? 35 degrees and more in summer.
Very hot. As we've gotten inland coming here, it's gotten even hotter. So taking a little bit to adapt, but it's all good. We're happy to be here. So
You brought your mother this time?
I did. Yeah, yes. I came with my best friend back in April at the beginning, and since leaving here, I've wanted to come back. So I've encouraged my mom to come over for the next couple of days. She's here visiting, so I knew she was coming. So I said, "Mom, we have to go to Medjugorje." So we rented a car and travelled here yesterday. So we're here now until just a short stay. Have to be back at work on Wednesday, so leaving tomorrow evening.
But it's a nice taste of it, no?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I hope Mom can take away, what I got from here the first time. So
What did you get?
Well, I suppose it was just like a series of events. I really felt like I was graced here, and me and my best friend, who I came with the first time around, I found it hard to put into words for the first couple of days. It was just, from small things, like I'd never gone to adoration before coming here, and on the first evening, we went to adoration, and it was just incredible. Like I was looking at the Eucharist and I would close my eyes, and I still think it sounds crazy when I say it out loud, but I could see the face of Jesus when I closed my eyes. No word of a lie. And, I could just feel like a sense of love like no other. On another evening, we took Holy Communion, and I went back down and I knelt to say my prayer, and I just started bursting into tears, came out of nowhere. But I just felt like a sense of love like I've never felt before. Like God was putting his arms around me and just giving me all the love he possibly could. And my heart just felt so full. And something I didn't even believe was possible. And it really was. So
That's Medjugorje, no? That you can feel the love of God the Father. A lot of people think it's an angry old man with a white beard, wants to judge us, put us to hell.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Like coming here the first time, I actually was suffering with like some health issues previously, nothing too serious, but just it was actually derived from a lot of anxiety and just some mental health problems. And maybe just not being in the best situation in my life, in a young relationship that I maybe shouldn't have been in. And I came here maybe feeling like a bit of lack of love for myself from the relationship I was in, and God gave me that right away. When I asked for some healing for it was my anxiety was causing a very upset stomach. I got that from him straight away. So I really truly believe I was graced. My biggest challenge now is being able to take what I find here and bring it with me. So I always said before the island was my peaceful place, but I think Medjugorje has become my peaceful place now. So
The peaceful island, that's why. It's an island, isn't it?
absolutely, yeah. But I think this is my peaceful place now, Medjugorje, because I don't think you can find this peace anywhere else. I mean, I'm young, I'm only 22, but from what I've experienced so far, it's an incredible sense of peace here, and you really cannot explain it until you come here yourself.
It's a bit like in the Bible, no? The Holy Spirit is hovering over this place, somebody said.
100%. 100%. I completely agree. Yeah.
And was it the first time or second time when you had all these coincidences about Medjugorje in the church? And can you explain again that? It was so amazing.
Absolutely, how I came here.
Yeah.
Well, basically, it was almost like a couple of weeks before going to Croatia. I was chatting about Croatia with my friends, my family. I was working in my parents' little store in our town, and I would chat to customers. I was so excited to get back to Croatia, to get back to work. So I was telling everybody, that I was going. If they asked me at any news, I was like, 2 weeks away to Croatia. Always very excited to come back to this part of the world. And basically, it was a customer who had been to Medjugorje. When I told him I was coming to Croatia, he said, "Oh, you have to go to Medjugorje. Dubrovnik is so close to Medjugorje. I don't see why you can't go." I had an incredible experience there, he had told me. So it was kind of in the back of my head. And then on Good Friday, I went to our local church, and actually me and my best friend, each Good Friday, we take part in a reenactment of the crucifixion. So following our little reenactment or little play, I decided to go to confession, and I hadn't been to confession in a long, long time, and I just felt the urge to go. And actually, before the play took place, sorry, just to rewind a little bit, me and my best friend actually spoke about Medjugorje and just came up in conversation, and she was like, oh, I really want to go. Her faith is absolutely inspiring to me. Shout out to Sinead. Her prayers definitely guided me here 100%. And so yeah, we had chatted about Medjugorje. She said that she heard it was an amazing place. She heard about some people who had been before. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to research it this evening. This is the second person who I've spoken to about Medjugorje, so I'll put a little research into it. And then, so back to going to confession, she pointed out a specific priest to go to confession to, Father Mark. If he's watching, hello Father Mark. And I sat down and done my confession and said my sins, and of course Croatia came up in conversation like it does with everyone who I speak to. And he was like, wow, you're going to Croatia, what part? I said Dubrovnik. He was like, you have to go to Medjugorje. And I was like, oh, okay, that's strange that you say that. And he said, okay, so I'm going to give you your penance now. And he said,
go to Medjugorje.
Right, yeah. So it's quite a hefty penance now. My sins weren't that bad. It had been a while since I went to confession, but they weren't that bad. But he said, you have to go to Medjugorje. That's your penance while you're in Croatia. So I was like, this is a sign. This is a calling, as they say, perhaps. And I went home that evening, and straight away I knew I would have some free time before starting my job in Croatia. So I booked to go to Medjugorje. The flight was cheap to go a week in advance, and the accommodation was pretty cheap. And I told my best friend, and she was like, you're going? Oh my goodness, this is amazing. And she researched it, and she was still in college at the time. It was just before the summer, and she managed to get some time off college, and she decided to come along with me. So that's how we ended up coming together, and it was just an incredible experience. We were meant to come for just 3 days and then head to Dubrovnik, do some traveling in Dubrovnik, but we ended up staying like the full week, just right until my job started. So we could not leave the place, and since getting back on the island, I've just wanted to come back since and grab
here
that
you
sense
are
of peace again. And here I am. I'm so grateful to be back here.
And what would you tell people why come here?
Why not? You know, it's just such a special place. Whether you're a believer or not a believer, I mean, I've watched several of your videos, Tom, and people have come here and been converted, and, you know, have felt that peace and have gone from not having any religion to becoming a Catholic. You know, there's just no reason not to come here and experience it if you have the opportunity. If you're lucky enough to be able to travel to this part of the world, just go for it, and you'll be so surprised by what you experience, I really think.
No preconceptions, just like you said, come and experience it for yourself, no?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And it's kind of, obviously, you know, we have the restaurants and the stores here, and people sometimes say that it's a little commercialized, but then I also hear people saying that it's maybe not as commercialized to the other places in the world where apparitions have happened. And I really find personally that there's just a true sense of peace. Like, you go behind the church, you go into the church is so simple, there's no jigs and reels about it, it's just plain and simple. You go behind the church, you have the wonderful altar, and it's just pure peace. You can walk down the garden to the statue of the risen Jesus and experience a miracle in itself there as well. So
yeah,
it's very special.
How is Apparition Hill for you to go on?
Oh, so special, so special.
Why?
I woke up, actually my first time here, I really struggled to sleep. I don't know why. It took me ages to sleep at night, and I ended up waking up really early in the morning. I don't know, was that some sort of a thing that was happening in itself? But I woke up quite early on the first morning. My friend was still fast asleep, and I just felt the need to go. So I let my friend sleep, and I headed off, and I walked up to Apparition Hill, and it was just beautiful. Like, I mean, it's pure simplicity. You're walking through the fields, you're walking through the countryside, you walk up the hill, and also the exact same feeling as for Holy Cross. I was very, very hesitant to do Holy Cross. As I was saying, like, my health wasn't amazing when I came here the first time, and my best friend was so eager to do it, and she encouraged me to do it. Took a double espresso before climbing the mountain, and oh, I do not regret it in the slightest.
Cross Mountain as well, yeah.
Oh, Cross Mountain, it was just incredible. I like, as I said, my mood wasn't the best when I first came here. When I got to the top of that mountain, Cross Mountain, I was just ecstatic.
You were
Like,
transformed, eh?
transformed. I cannot describe. We were dancing at the top of the mountain. Like, it was like no other feeling.
Yeah.
It's so, so special.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a transformative experience to cross mountain. No? It's different than to Our Lady, who is more gentle. This is Jesus who's transforming, no?
Absolutely, yeah. I really believe that. That's such an interesting perspective, actually. I never thought of it that way, but absolutely. There's definitely a special presence on the hill and on Cross Mountain.
And what would you say? You went to confession. A lot of people don't go to confession. They think you have to go in a dark box and there's a priest judging you. What is your experience about confession?
Well, especially here in Medjugorje, like, it's completely open. You can also go into the box if you want to. But there's something so special about open confession, especially my first time here. Like, we were here for a week. I wanted to go every evening. You know, I was thinking of these past sins and I was like, I want to go again. And you just feel such like weight lifted off your shoulders having gone to confession. And the priests are also kind, you know, from every single priest that I've experienced here. Special shout out especially to Father Leon. I find him absolutely inspiring. We got to go to one of his talks when we were back here in April, and me and my best friend just became huge fans. Like, so inspiring. His story is amazing, and it's just another great, you know, story of what Medjugorje does for people. So it's absolutely incredible.
Transformative, no? That's how you would describe it. No, you get a new life somehow. Huh?
100%. 100%.
Happened to me. Same thing. Completely transformed. The brokenness healed. No.
Wow. That's amazing.
You pray the rosary. How is that for you?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Really, since coming here, before coming, when I was kind of told, you know, go to Medjugorje, for the first time ever, I started properly praying the rosary. And as well, when I'm here, I try my best to pray it. My biggest struggle, though, is, as I mentioned, is they always say, you know, you feel the peace here, but it's the hardest thing to take away what you learn from here and the peace with you. So that's my biggest, at the moment, challenge, to just try my best to take what's here with me wherever I go. So I'm really hoping and praying that I can do that this time. And just really, it's more of a personal thing as well, that I really need to work everything that I do here and everything that I learn here into my routine back at home or even on the island, and not let things like a job or a social life or, you know, take up the majority of my time. Really fit in time for Jesus as well, because what is more important, you know? I know it, but it's just
we all struggle with that. It's the distractions out in the world, no?
100%.
And Holy Mass, you go regularly? How's that? Yeah. What is it for you, Holy Mass? People don't understand what it is. Can you explain it?
It's just so special, like, and the more I come here and go to Mass here, I mean, and how it's preached here that Jesus is with you. Like Father Leon said it this morning, that when you're at Mass, Jesus is there in the tabernacle, you're taking the body of Christ. It's just so, so special. And also adoration, like the sense of peace that you can get from adoration also is just so incredible. And I feel like I'm no one to preach this, because I find it when I'm here, I even just said to my mom like a few minutes ago that I feel like when I'm at home and when I'm here, I'm like a different person, because when I'm here, you know, you have so much time to dedicate to the faith, to speak about it. Everyone you meet here is so open and they speak about their faith. But when I go back at home, it's more of a closed off personal thing, and it's just much harder to put into your daily life. But as I said, that's what I'm really going to try and focus on now. You know, I
was in Germany. What helps? Daily Mass, if you have the chance to go daily Mass.
100%.
And the miracle is there. The biggest miracle is the transubstantiation. Jesus becoming, the bread is becoming Jesus, you know. You have it everywhere. Dubrovnik, you have it in Ireland, England, wherever around the world, you know. That helped me in Germany to go every day. I felt recharged, the battery.
And you do, like, after taking
Christ,
Eucharist,
yeah.
you get a sense of joy, don't you? Like, I hadn't gone to Mass in maybe 2-3 weeks, because I was working on a Sunday, and it just takes place once a week on a Sunday on the island where I work. And I missed a couple of Sundays, and I went there last Sunday, and wow, I skipped down to work, you know.
Yeah.
Just feel so joyful after taking the Eucharist.
Yeah.
And I don't know, pray that everyone can experience this, you know. As they say, the Catholic Church is getting smaller and smaller, and it probably will continue to do so, as it's written. But I really just would love if everyone could experience what we get to experience here. We're so lucky.
Yeah, we have everything, the fullness for free. You know, antidepressants you have to pay. This one is for free. Every day you can receive it, you know.
Completely free, yeah.
Just go to confession, be in a state of grace.
100%.
I know.
Like people around the world, I mean, and there's no shame in it. Like people, you know, pay for example, therapy or for certain things for their mental well-being, and that's amazing and perfectly fine. But even maybe with something like therapy and coming here, you're going to be in the best place you possibly can be. You know, if you have that experience if you have that blessing to experience what you can get from here, it's
But you experience the love of God, basically. God the Father, who is a lovely,
100%. It's
loving Father. A lot of people don't have that good image of a father anymore, and you get it back here, no, unfortunately. Yeah?
you really can, yeah, 100%.
You felt it, no?
Yeah,
You experienced
absolutely.
it. That's the right word. It's not about a feeling. It's a deep experience in the heart, no?
It really is. It really is. Yeah. So special.
Wow. Fasting for you, it's difficult?
It is. It is. That's really something I want to try and work into my routine back at home as well. And even back in Dubrovnik. It's, you know, I got really inspired when I came here, only back in April. I heard about fasting and, like, you know, I'm speaking a lot here and I suppose trying to preach a bit. And as I said, I feel like I have no right to do so because I've really been I've always, you know, considered myself Christian. But I've really only, you know, been trying to be dedicated to my Catholic life since I came here back in April, you know, maybe March, April, and from Easter. And, but yes, fasting is something I really do want to try more and more. You know, I wake up some days and I'm like, okay, today I'm going to fast. But I always fall a little bit short, you know.
But it can be just a single espresso instead of a double espresso, something like that, you know?
Exactly. I like that, yeah. It really is just making any effort you can, I suppose, and starting small.
And in an intention to offer it up for somebody, like your friend maybe praying for you, say, her prayer paved your way to come here, no?
100%.
Somebody you know, you want to, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And tell us about Dubrovnik. When you come to Medjugorje, you can go to Dubrovnik. It's a lovely city. What is your experience about Dubrovnik?
Absolutely. Oh, Dubrovnik is wonderful. Like, the city itself is amazing. It's amazing. It's an amazing piece of history. But I am based, as I mentioned, just off the coast of Dubrovnik. So I definitely recommend hopping over to the islands if you have a chance. The Elefiches. So I'm on the first one of the Elefiches, Kalamota. It's a very, very special place. So definitely, if you get to go the opportunity to go to Dubrovnik, come here first and then go to the island.
Yeah. Often it happens, they book the coastal line and then they come one day, the next time they come 8 days here, don't go to the coastal line anymore. That's the law. I found out in 1,000 interviews or 1,500. Yeah. Yeah,
I feel like that's slowly happening to me. Like, since leaving, as I mentioned, I've just wanted to come back and I'm already hoping to be able to come back for the youth festival in August. And then I may have a week or two before I'm heading back home. So I'd love to spend maybe like a good 2 weeks here. God willing, hopefully. And hopefully into the future as well.
And is that all because of that experience, that love that you felt in your heart? That you want to come back here? Because of that love you felt? Or?
Absolutely. Because even, you know, coming back yesterday, I was kind of thinking, I hope I feel the same way. I hope it's the same. Maybe it won't be. I think deep down I knew it would feel still very peaceful here.
Yeah.
But I went to adoration for a little while yesterday and immediately, like, I was praying about certain things and the tears were rolling down my face. You know, I felt that love immediately. And so...
Oh, you touched me. It's unbelievable. It's the grace of tears, no? Purification.
Absolutely. Absolutely, yeah. It's so special and just pure here. It really is.
And what would you tell now, summarizing, why Catholic? Why is it so beautiful to be Catholic?
Well, I suppose for me, it's just the presence here is what kind of inspires me to be Catholic. And it's what I've felt here in Medjugorje. Otherwise, like, I mean, growing up, I've always, you know, have had a strong belief, felt close to God, felt a sense of peace going to Catholic Mass, even throughout my, you know, junior cert, which is the exams we take when we're around 14, 15 in school. I mean, the thought of exams kind of stressed me out, and I would go to Mass every Sunday, and it would bring me so much peace. So I think, you know what, I've always gotten a sense of peace from the Catholic Church without probably even realising, just even, you know, if I'm somewhere abroad and I walk into a Catholic church and sit for a few minutes, I've always felt that peace. But, you know, to say as well, if I also walk into an Orthodox church, I can feel that peace as well, you know. So yeah, it's a Christian peace. But here, Medjugorje, obviously it's a Catholic place, so I feel that equally here too as well.
You think she's here, Our Lady?
Yeah, 100%. It only makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why? How would you explain somebody's listening to video, never heard about Medjugorje? Why is she here? How would you describe it?
It's just, I mean, the first time I came here, just immediately, like, when we stepped out of the hotel and started walking down the street towards St. James, like, we looked at the sun and there wasn't anything, the sun wasn't spinning, we weren't lucky enough to see that. But, you know, we didn't need to see that. The sun just shone so brightly in the sky, I've never seen anything like it. So, it's just from the moment that we came here, we knew something was different about the place. And then it's just the series of events that followed. Like, my friend also experienced some really special things while she's here. Even my mama is experiencing some of her own personal things here. It's just, you know, if you say a little prayer that in a hope that someone will experience something, or you'll experience something yourself here, you'll find it very, very easily.
Yeah. Well, what can I say? You have a Bible scripture you like?
I mean, I think something that I just said before this interview, we were talking about fear, and it's something to remind myself very often, do not be afraid, you know?
365 times in the Bible it's written for every day. 5 times, no?
Like, what could not be more true? And I have to remind myself that all the time, because I forget every day. Every single day. I'm naturally quite an anxious person, as I mentioned.
Me too.
So, yeah. It has to be a constant reminder, doesn't it? It's just, but literally, I think, you know, I need to go home and stick that on my wall, like, do not be afraid, because, you know, just trust in God and there's no reason to be.
And, you know, I pray for faith, gain more faith. That's the currency of the kingdom of heaven. It's not the euros come and go, but the faith. And it grew, I see it in you, it grew through that experience, no?
Thank you, yes. You know, I'm the exact same. It's just, when I'm here now, it's just praying to take that faith with me and continue it. It's always there, it's always inside of me, but sometimes with life it just gets a little buried, and you can kind of lose it a tiny bit. But it's just try and hold on to it and like keep it steady throughout your life, and I think you'll feel the grace of God then, you know, in every day.
And it just came to mind again, you know, also we talked about yesterday, a friend from America. It's good to have a prayer group. Our Lady says form prayer groups with people who have been in Medjugorje, that you share the flame, and then it's a big fire, it stays. If you have only one wood burning, it finished at one point, but if you put it together, that you have people you can share, that will help, you know.
That's so true, actually. Yeah. When I head back home now, in a couple of weeks' time.
Just ask, is there prayer group, people here you meet?
100%, absolutely. Yeah, I know in our local parish at home, St. John's, the priest there, Father Mark, was actually setting up a prayer group. So I definitely think when I get back home, I do want to really get involved more and more. 100%, yeah, absolutely. Because even as you mentioned, daily mass, like before I came here, I was trying my best to go to mass as much as possible back in April. And
but it goes away, no? Somehow
it does, especially, you know, in daily life when you're working. You know, I'm doing an internship at the moment, it's long hours, it's no excuse, but as I...
Then you have friends who don't go, you say, why should I go? Stay with them.
It gets, the faith gets buried a bit, it's still there, but it's just kind of like books get piled on top of it almost.
Yeah.
And a little bit of dust can collect, but you know what, I'm so lucky, as I mentioned, to be able to come here. It's such a blessing. And really, you come here and it's like shaking the dust off those books, you know, emptying the pile, and the faith just re-emerges. I think that's the best way to
describe it, the experience of Medjugorje.
Absolutely.
Wow. Absolutely. Thank you so much for that beautiful interview.
Thank you so much for your time. Thank you.